The wedding hall smelled of jasmine, money, and metal. That's how I remember it, the scent of wealth, sharpened by fear. My father stood at the altar, the same way he always stood before his empire, shoulders wide, chin lifted, eyes soft but heavy with control. He was a man who believed every silence could be bought. And tonight, silence was dressed in white lace. Her, the bride, perfect, delicate, sculpted by ambition. She smiled like someone who'd been practicing her whole life. And maybe she had. People said she was the kind of woman who made men forget their names. My father called her a miracle. But I knew better. Miracles don't study your weaknesses before they love you. The orchestra played something classical, shallow. Glasses clinked. Laughter scattered like dry leaves. Then, a tremor. Not in the music, not in the air, but inside me. An instinct that crawled up my spine, whispering, "Watch her hands." The handkerchief. White. Folded. Trembling slightly between her fingers. She lifted it to her lips, dabbing softly, as if hiding a secret there. Then she brushed it across my father's wrist, gentle, affectionate, and smiled. But I saw the edge. A faint blue shimmer along the hem. Almost invisible. Almost dosed. My throat tightened. The chandeliers above seemed to flicker, as if they too had noticed. She turned, meeting my eyes. A slow, knowing blink. I rose before I could think. Stop. Every head turned. The violin's note strangled mid-air. "Dad," I said, my voice breaking through the stillness. "The handkerchief. It's poisoned." Her hand froze, then loosened. The morning after the wedding that never was, the mansion was quiet. Servants whispered. Doors closed slower than usual. Her perfume still lingered in the halls, roses and ruin. I sat beside my father's hospital bed. He was alive, barely. Machines breathed for him now, steady, mechanical, merciless. His skin had turned pale, veins darkened along his wrist, where the handkerchief had touched. Every beep of the monitor sounded like judgment. She hadn't visited since that night. The news said she was grieving privately, but I knew she was calculating. I stared at his face, the man who built empires and destroyed families to do it. The man who taught me that emotion was a weakness. And now he lay silent, devoured by his own blindness. The nurse entered quietly, adjusting the IV. Her eyes avoided mine. Fear, disguised as professionalism. I spoke softly. "Did she come?" A pause. Then, a shake of the head. I nodded. I already knew. That night, I searched his study. The desk was immaculate. It always was. But behind the photographs, the books, the trophies, I found her letters. Each one perfect. Each one a lie dressed as love. The last one ended with a line that chilled me more than the poison itself. "Your daughter will never understand what you did to my family. But I will." I read it again, and again, until the words burned themselves into my pulse. She wasn't just marrying him. She was avenging something. But what? And why did I feel the faintest flicker of guilt when I read it? 3 nights later, the mansion was empty. I walked its corridors like a ghost haunting the ruins of her father's pride. The staff had been dismissed. The press, silenced. The fiancée vanished. Only the walls remained, and they whispered in their own way. I traced her presence in everything she touched. Her lipstick mark on a wine glass. Her perfume still caught in the curtains. Her shadow burned into the memories of the men who adored her. She had been everywhere. Too perfectly. Then she whispered something I could read only by movement. "Now I know." I paused the video, stared at her face, the calm before the storm. Lumacore. I remembered the name. A company swallowed by my father's empire years ago. Their CEO bankrupt. Their assets liquidated. Rumor said the owner's wife died from the fallout. Their daughter vanished. My blood ran cold. That daughter. She would be about my age now. Beautiful, intelligent, calculating. My father's bride. Of course. Of course. Revenge always wears love's skin. I closed the screen. The reflection in the dark glass wasn't mine anymore. It was hers, calm, cold, unblinking. And somewhere between hatred and pity, I realized something horrifying. I didn't want to stop her. I wanted to understand her. The next morning, I received a message. A single text. No name, no number. Meet me where he built his first lie. It could only mean one place. The old villa by the lake. My father's first property, the one he bought when he began his empire, and where he buried his first betrayal. I drove there alone. Fog curled over the water like smoke from a dying fire. She was waiting by the pier. White dress, hair loose, eyes steady, like a ghost that had learned to forgive itself. "You came," she said softly. Her voice wasn't what I expected, not cruel. She reached into her bag and held up a vial, the same poison. "I only used a drop," she said. "Enough to make him sleep. Enough to remind him that empire is fragile." "Why tell me this now?" I asked. "Because you're the only one who can decide if he wakes up." She tossed me the vial. It was almost empty. The liquid shimmered faintly in the light. Then she turned and walked away, her silhouette dissolving into the fog, leaving me with the weight of choice. I returned to the hospital. The monitors hummed. He looked smaller, weaker, human. The nurses had gone for the night. It was just us, father and daughter, empire and aftermath. I placed the vial on his bedside table. His eyes fluttered open, barely. He saw it. Then me. "You knew," I said. His lips parted, dry. "I built all this for you." "No," I whispered. "You built it on them." His hand twitched, reaching for mine. I didn't move. "I didn't know," he said, voice breaking. "About her mother. About the people you crushed." I smiled faintly. "I believe you. And maybe I did. Because monsters never see the blood beneath their footprints." I opened the vial, poured the remaining drops into the sink. He watched, eyes wet, regret blooming too late. "You'll survive," I said. "That's your punishment." He closed his eyes. "And her? She's already free." He turned his head away, silent. The machines kept breathing for him, but I knew inside he was already gone. I left the hospital without looking back. Revenge, I realized, doesn't end when justice is served. It ends when silence returns. The lake was still again. The fog had thinned. Birds returned to the branches. I stood where she had stood. The air was colder, cleaner, quieter. In my pocket, I carried his ring, the one he had meant to place on her finger. I threw it into the water. It sank fast, without ripples. For the first time, I understood her mother. And maybe her. We were all poisoned, not by chemicals, but by inheritance. By silence. By love twisted into power. I closed my eyes and breathed. The empire was his no longer. The burden, mine no more. When I opened them again, I saw her reflection beside mine, in the water, faint, smiling. And then gone. Some poisons are mercy in disguise. He taught me to kill emotions. She taught me how to bury them beautifully.